Let's talk about crypto and NFTs.
We're at the height of their bro. Can you believe people bought into this shit? Like, isn't this fucking...
You could not make up today's story. Let's talk about crypto and NFTs. They were at the height of their...
Oh, man, bro. Can you believe people bought into this shit? Like, isn't this fucking funny to see? You know, like, who was that guy on Joe Rogan who was like mass hysteria, like psychosis or something like that? Group psychosis? I feel like he was talking about COVID, but what he really meant was the NFTs. Holy shit, man.
Popularity towards the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. Here we see frickin' Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton promoting this stuff. Then a lot of the celebrities who promoted NFTs began to get sued because a lot of people felt, misled. And then situations...
By the way, do you remember whenever I said Seth Green's Bored Ape being stolen was the beginning of the end? I was right.
Where certain celebrities tried to make shows off of their NFTs, but then like Seth Green's Bored Ape got stolen, so he couldn't make a show, and then he had to like pay some ransom basically to get it back. Beyond that, we got situations where certain voice actors like Tara Strong and Troy Baker were sort of getting into NFTs. Troy Baker eventually backed out, but that did not leave or sort of getting into NFTs. Troy Baker.
After careful consideration, I've decided to not continue the partnership with Voice First NFT. Intentions aside, I've heard you and apologize for accusing anyone of hating just for simply disagreeing with me. That's a W for Troy, I would say. There's a lot of people that get involved with this kind of stuff and they're not really super tech literate. They just see something that sounds cool and they go along with it. And, it turns out it's not always the right decision. And, it's always easy to shit on somebody for not knowing everything. But the truth is that these guys are actors. They're not, tech people or anything like that. And they're just as susceptible as anybody else to, different types of marketing and schemes and stuff like that.
Eventually backed out, but that did not leave a particularly good image because by that point people kind of realized what a grift NFTs were, and also they're not environmentally friendly. And then we look at situations where Justin Bieber purchased a Bored Ape NFT in January 2022 for $1.31 million.
$1.31 million. That's how I'd look too.
And that value has dropped to $60,000. This was something that was widely reported on. Here is a CNBC article on it. Yep. And this is kind of the general trend.
Oh, here we go. The first ever tweet in NFT format sold for $2.9 million in March 2021. The most recent bid is $132. What a flip.
There's been this huge crash. Here is the first ever tweet NFT that sold for $2.9 million in 2021. And then the most recent bid as of October of 2022 was $132. And then beyond that, you've got your crypto and NFT scams like Logan Paul, who made this whole game around NFTs.
I actually think that CryptoZoo, I hope Logan Paul never pays anybody back. Because it's just like, I love the narrative of it. I do. I hope he never does it. Because I will find it way more interesting and funny. Why would he? Yeah.
Basically centered around like breeding animals and stuff like that. And that not only did not go well, but it straight up was a scam. And Logan Paul still has yet to issue restitution to the victims affected. And looking at where NFTs stand now, the consensus based on recent research and studies is that NFTs are dead. And I mean, this is one particular website that I talked about that kind of really broke it down. The essence of it is that 95% of
NFTs are officially dead. 95% of NFTs are estimated to be literally worthless, with pieces from top collections worth $5 to $10. Roughly 25 million people are sat on dead assets thanks to celebrity endorsements. The speculative bubble has popped. I do not want to blame celebrities for this. Some people are so absolutely fucking stupid. They thought this is why NFTs were so appealing, all right? Is because they appeal to the true American dream. To get rich by doing no work adding no value to anything, and to feel like you deserved it because you're smarter than everybody else. And that's why NFTs were so powerful, is because they tapped into every lame, boring, mediocre, average guy with nothing going for him and told those guys, you know what? You do deserve to be on a yacht full of, Victoria's Secret models. You do deserve that. You are special. You are going to make it. And that's the lie that they bought into. Every single person that I saw that was really into NFTs is the most painfully boring person I've ever come in contact with. I feel like a loser after reading their profile. They're so painfully boring and bland that it's no surprise that they would get excited about a picture of a monkey. And that's why it was so popular. It had nothing to do with celebrity endorsements. Celebrities were endorsing it because it was popular. Celebrities endorsing it didn't make it popular.
NFTs are estimated to be literally worthless with pieces.
Celebrities suck too, right? Look, I'm not trying to say they don't, but that's not the main point.
From top collections, mostly worth $5 to $10. Roughly 25 million people are sat on dead assets thanks to celebrity endorsements. The speculative bubble has popped, is how Ryan T. Brown here summarized it. And despite all of the red flags surrounding crypto and NFTs, game companies have tried to shove these in our games, but fortunately the pushback has been so harsh enough that companies so far, or at the present moment, seem to be steering clear from that stuff and are realizing that...
anything Web3, by the way, guys, anything Web3 to any extent, you should just immediately shit on it and not accept it in any facility whatsoever. It adds no value to you as a player, and all it does is it gives the company another avenue to control you. Don't give an inch.
This is not going to be their next big gold mine like it was with microtransactions.
Yeah, if you hear Web3, what you're hearing is scam. NFT, scam. Blockchain, scam. Completely against it in all forms. It adds no value to anybody.
But none of this will
all
benefit
scams.
Gaming as companies claim they will. For them, it's all about the dollar signs that they see, the potential profits that they could accrue to please investors, not about making gaming better. Now, not only will NFTs potentially do permanent financial damage, but they may potentially do permanent physical damage if you attend some of their events, as Bored Ape recently hosted an event where they burned off people's skins and eyeballs with UV lights. I wish I were making this up, but this is a real story. So right here we have a tweet from November 5th, 2023, from an NFT bro who tweeted, anybody else's eyes burned from last night woke up at...
This is what happened, is so the NFT Andes had a convention at Hong Kong. I can't believe this even happened. They had certain lights there that were meant for growing plants or different types of science things. And these lights, you're not supposed to look into them because of how powerful the lights are. It's imagine looking at the sun. You ever looked at the sun? Not good, right? And anyway, this happened, and people were literally going blind.
3 a.m. with extreme pain and ended up in the ER. I saw a couple of reports, but just trying to figure out if there was a common thread. Last night, referring to 8Fest 2023, a convention essentially that centered around Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. People attended the event, and there were no safety precautions surrounding some of its light effects, which were UV, and a lot of people were afflicted by this. Here's some...
I also want to say that this happened in Hong Kong, and the only other instance recorded of this happening in the past was also in Hong Kong. So I actually don't think this is something that's intrinsic to NFT people being losers or stupid. I think it's just something that has to do with the way they organize events there, or the people that are organizing events there being irresponsible. I don't think this actually has anything to do primarily with NFTs. The visionaries, or at least former visionaries now. Oh god, that's savage. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Former visionaries.
Responding to that tweet who experienced something similar, I promised it was really bad, so I had to go to the hospital.
Wow.
After they cleaned my eyes and gave me medicine, I'm feeling a little better now. And for the original poster, apparently blurry vision persisted. Doc says to pop into the hospital tomorrow if any blurry vision still persists. And congrats on the new ape. Please protect it well. Somehow they still have a positive attitude about all this despite potential permanent damage to their vision. Here's another response from Crypto June. I woke up at 4 and couldn't see anymore. Had so much pain and my whole skin is burned. Needed to go to the hospital. The doctor told me the UV of the lighting of the stage did it. It has the same effect as sunlight, UV light.
Yeah, these are lights that are used to like grow plants, right? For tanning as well. Yeah, true.
Still cannot.
And like, you know, like in those tanning beds, you have to wear the goggles.
See normally. Here's a better breakdown from news outlet The Verge, who published the following article titled Bored Ape NFT Event Attendees Report Severe Eye Burn Caused by Unprotected Exposure to UV Lights During the Ape Fest 2023. Several people reported experiencing eye pain, vision problems, and sunburned skin on Sunday after attending Ape Fest. And there are a bunch of tweets that have been archived speaking to that effect. Here is Yuga Labs' response. Yuga Labs being the company behind Bored Ape Yacht Club. Spokesperson Emily Kidd said this in a statement to The Verge. We are actively reaching out and in touch with those affected to better understand the root cause. There's no better understanding the cause. It's UV lights. This is, pretty basic stuff. Based on our...
I am not ready to say that Yuga Labs is like totally, like Yuga Labs is responsible for it. They're the ones that do Bored Apes. And it's their event and they hold accountability. But whenever you hire, like they didn't set this event up, right? Like they obviously hired a third party to set this event up. And the third party is the venue. Yeah, it's the venue people. Those are the ones that fucked up. Those people fucked up. Not Yuga Labs. And Yuga Labs just bears the responsibility, but the true fault lies with the event organizers. It's kind of like a good parallel to this is the Twitch event whenever that lady, what was her name? Adriana Chenick, she tried to jump into the ball pit and she broke her back or something like that. Obviously, it's a TwitchCon event, so Twitch is responsible for it, but Twitch didn't set up that ball pit. They didn't do that. It was the event organizers and their negligence. You know her name? Yeah, of course. She's a streamer. Of course, yeah.
Estimates, the 15 people we have been in direct communication with so far represent less than 1% of the approximately 2,250 event attendees and staff at our Saturday night event. I love that their way of doing damage control is by bringing out a percentage. Well, it was less than 1%, so trust us, the damage wasn't that bad. But it potentially could have been. There shouldn't be a single person who should have been afflicted with the possibility of lost vision. And not to mention, this is
massively irresponsible for them, and I think it was just a huge fuck up.
15 people that they know of, there might be more. Regardless, it's still enough people afflicted by this that the attendees were in a dangerous situation where their skin could have been damaged and their eyes could have been potentially permanently crippled. Some people do seem to be recovering, but others seem to be experiencing vision difficulties, even, after seeking some treatment. So who knows how this will pan out. Even if one person has permanent vision damage from your event, that's a huge deal. That's potentially somebody's life you might have upended. Saying that it was less than 1%, it was only 15 people, is entirely dismissing 15 people who might have potentially been or were actually severely injured. Now here's another...
Yeah, it's probably not good messaging to talk about how many people didn't get affected. Because, it was still, I just think they should have thrown the event organizers under the bus. They should have been like, yeah, we paid them to do the event, and they thought they were going to do these lights, and, it's like, we're really sorry. And that's it, right? Because it's not really great PR for them. The lights are medical grade UV lights, were used for fucking disinfecting shit. Well, they're disinfecting people's eyes.
Crypto bro Adrian, who tweeted about this whole situation, who kind of broke things down by tweeting, posting that in hope that my friends suffering the same issue realize they need medical attention ASAP. This is someone who also was afflicted with vision problems following the UV light situation at this event.
Look at this guy's bio. Free 7-day trade camp. Stop getting wrecked with confident trade guidance. Trade group for joiners. You guaranteed there's money involved with this. Jesus Christ. It's just so sad.
But for some reason, this individual still thanks Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club for a great Ape Fest incredible event and met plenty of amazing people. Still, as dozens of others, I've almost lost sight this night.
Just say
can you be still kissing the ring of this company who were so neglectful?
Because they're bought into the dogma and they're completely and literally invested into it. And the idea, he probably has Bored Apes, so he doesn't want to shit on it because it would lower the perspective value of his pictures.
As to put people in peril in this way. I'm being taken care of by doctors now and have only good intentions.
There's no principle or logic to this at all. It's just all self-serving actions.
Writing this post to all my friends who suffer now, go get your eyes checked. You've likely, most literally, got your eyes burnt with UV like I did.
For it to happen to NFT bros, it literally is blind leading the blind now. Jesus, man. Jesus.
Which requires medications, eye drops, eye protection, antibiotics, and specialist care. Don't ignore this health hazard. Without a proper treatment, it may cause long-lasting vision impairment and other serious damage. To the organizers, for the communication and awareness reasons, it would be fair to put together an official statement with recommendations on what to do. How is this guy not outraged? How is he being so polite about this when...
Because he's financially invested, so it's in his best interest to pretend like he's part of the clique. The thing is with a lot of, and this is how a lot of cults work, is that you can never go directly against the cult, and you can't go against the groupthink. So he can only push back on it so much, because if he actually starts criticizing the Bored Apes, then he's going to lose the... And also keep in mind, the stupidest people are the ones that are the most susceptible to, like, dogmatic thinking. And those are the people that are going to be buying his 7-day free workshop, right? So you don't want to alienate stupid people, because those are the people that give you money. You never go against the cult, never go against the established thinking.
Attendees have every right to be outraged by the potential dangers that they were exposed to, and for some, the dangers that they were exposed to that did leave scars. As dozens of people you care about were exposed to serious health hazards and lots of suffering, you're a good guy. You're a good guy, so it should be easy for you to recognize the seriousness of it. I don't know, man, that feels like a very slap in the wrist way of saying things when this feels like it warrants like a full investigation. And then here's an update from Adrian, who tweeted, so far 30 hours since woke up with severe eye burn. I've visited emergency hospital and eye clinic and spent there a total of 6 hours. Got diagnosed with photokeratitis over both eyes, accident-related, with prescribed steroid eye drops and eye lubricants. My vision was tested as close to perfect with no serious cornea damage, luckily. Now, this individual lucked out, but there might be others who weren't so lucky, who might have suffered permanent damage, or who might...
Well, it could, I don't understand the way eyes work, but what I bet is that some of this damage is probably like let's say you're sailing from the US to Britain, right? And you're off by like 1 degree. Well, you can end up in a whole other country, right? By the time you get over to the other side of the ocean. So I think it maybe this could fuck up the trajectory of somebody's eyes in the long term. And the effects wouldn't be present, until years and years in the past. Yeah, they age their eyes, right? So I'm not a doctor. I don't understand this, but
not know why their eyes are burning all of a sudden and might not seek treatment as immediately as they should. That might result in long-term lasting effects. So many of my friends are still unaware, as he says here. They must seek medical help to make sure they end up with no damage as well. Please go get your eyes checked immediately. We have most likely been exposed to experience similar to Mount Everest climbers, snow blindness, basically a result of sunlight and that sunlight getting reflected and all these things. All medical costs rounded up to $380 for me. Some friends called in...
Jesus. That's more than a Bored Ape.
Ambulance for themselves. Still, altogether, it's not expensive. Please go get your eyes checked. Oh, HKD stands for Hong Kong dollars, Hong Kong being where this Bored Ape Yacht Club event took place. Thankfully, this all occurred somewhere where medical bills aren't through the roof, like here in America. I should be fine since my family are doctors and they knew what to do, though many are ignoring the seriousness of the issue still and don't have the benefit of having doctors in their family. Please don't wait until it's too late. I don't know how many people this is honestly going to reach. No hate towards the organizers. How? I mean, you should be...
I think that you like, the organizers are the ones that fucked up. I can say no hate to Yuga Labs because they just simply hired an organizer in a country that was, like, didn't take it very seriously, and they just fucked up. I can say, yeah, it's not really their fault. But the organizers, it's definitely their fault.
Absolutely outraged at this, in my opinion. Like, if I were exposed to the possibility of losing my vision, I'd be freaking livid. I doubt it was on purpose, and shit like that at times happens almost randomly. That doesn't matter if it wasn't on purpose. Like, they should have made sure that public safety was one of the #1 things at any event like this. This isn't just something that happens randomly. This is what happens when you're careless, and it's carelessness that can do potentially permanent damage to thousands of attendees. So far, it looks like it was potentially a dozen or two people, but who knows what the true damage is. I mean, talk about the patience of the gods to not castigate an organization for not doing their due diligence to ensure that UV lights don't burn people's skins and eyes. He continues, however...
I can't believe the organizers. Like, I think they should definitely sue the organizers that put this event together. They should 100% sue them.
I'm planning to push until official statements by Bored Ape Yacht Club Yuga Labs are released. For awareness purposes, literally my friends need medical help without realizing they do. Yeah, it's a pretty dire situation. It's not for me, it's for them. So, at least he's trying to put the message out there, but you can see that, it got a decent amount of views. So hopefully, with reports like The Verge is out there that this might be a situation, hopefully it's a headline that will reach people who are wondering, why is my vision failing me? What's wrong with my eyes? Or why is my skin feeling like it's burned off? And they can seek medical help ASAP. Yeah. Now, while some somehow have the patience of the gods to be gracious about all of this, there are others already thinking about...
Bored Ape NFT holder threatens legal action. Thank God. Thank fucking God. Maybe somebody is actually going to do something about this. This is insane. Had the organizers put the lights up without getting blind? Well, because they probably put them up facing away from them.
Taking legal action, as this headline here from Decrypt.co states, Bored Ape NFT holder threatens legal action. Steve Kamal is one of the several Ape Fest attendees who experienced eye pain after the festival. So there are further details down here. This individual, founder and CEO of art technology company ArtFi, told Decrypt that his company has put Bored Ape Yacht Club maker Yuga Labs on legal notice after sustaining an eye infection and facial burns last week in Hong Kong at Ape Fest.
Wait, so it didn't even burn his eyes, it burned his face too? Holy shit.
Straight up says right here that this is the first step toward suing them. I felt helpless, he said. I felt blind for hours and I felt vulnerable. Wow. Kamal also publicly blasted, said, I felt...
much less than 1%. Oh, yeah.
Blind for hours and I felt vulnerable. Kamal also publicly blasted Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club on Twitter, stating that let's create change together. I'm petitioning for enhanced safety measures.
All right, so today I wanted to discuss the hypothetical scenario of the Twin Towers not collapsing. There's two different ways you can preface this. Just in general, the entire terrorist attack doesn't happen. The Twin Towers stay standing. Obviously, where would they be right now? What would their office space look like with the open floor plan and with so many people since the pandemic trying to leave the office? How would both of those skyscrapers, because remember, back in the late 90s and even the year 2000, a lot of New Yorkers didn't like the Twin Towers. They kind of looked like cement blocks to some people. And then the horrible 9/11 happens and they become kind of legendary status after that. But in general, we're going to be looking at it from that angle. And then also this other alternate history thing, what if the planes do hit the towers and the towers were able to remain upright? Bin Laden, when he planned this, there's conflicting reports, but it is generally theorized that Bin Laden did not expect the towers to fall. Even if the towers didn't fall, there would still be significant death. The cleanup would be a lot easier. The question turns into, what do you do with them? So you can see this alternate history. This is a very interesting photograph of the Twin Towers after the impact of both planes, after all the smoke clears, about a month later, with support scaffolding, and it looks like some cranes up right next to them. It says the two main buildings of the World Trade Center complex, the North and South Tower, as of June 2021, 19 years after the attacks, both structures are reinforced by a system of metal frames. 9/11 Memorial Center is located on the former Ground Plaza, and both the towers are permanently closed to the public. The new One World Trade Center can be seen in the backdrop of the building. So they just kind of added the Twin Towers in this alternate history scenario, and I guess the idea is they would remain closed indefinitely. Maybe they would turn into some type of a museum. But the general thought is if they did remain standing, they would be so damaged that there would have to be some type of controlled demolition done to both the North and South Tower, just because of the overall extensive damage. There is also the thought, that would be letting the terrorists win. Why would you do that? Keep the towers up. But I do think they would have to do something like it's a controlled demolition. Either way, there would still be so many deaths from the impact zone of the airplanes, all the floors above it. A lot of those people, unfortunately, would still die even if the towers didn't collapse due to breathing in smoke and toxic fumes, as well as possibly burning from the heat and all the fires that were inside both the North and South Tower that ignited. And then the other angle to look at when it comes to the idea of 9/11 just not happening at all and the Twin Towers remaining, there's a lot of components of this. Now, number one, it would be a lot different in terms of airline travel, although I do believe, based on how lax the security was, something like this was going to happen. If it doesn't happen on 9/11, on September 11th, 2001, it could have happened in 2003, 2004. Would it have been this exact attack? Probably not, but it would have been something that would have made us up our security, or just in general, people would have thought we probably should be safer with this. Maybe you see attacks from other areas of the world. And I do think eventually our security would be significantly upgraded when it comes to airports. But obviously if it didn't happen in 2001, we would still have the same security measures. There would really be no need to change them. So that would be the first main difference if it never happened. And then the other thing, just looking at both of the towers were considered fairly obsolete. And I guess I'll give my personal opinion on the towers. I've made a few different videos. I've talked about possibly reconstructing the towers using glass and kind of having a translucent glass that lights up in the American flag colors. I think that's what they should have done. But you understand why they build the One World Trade Center. They don't want the idea of the Twin Towers. It would kind of be tough to convince people to go into, like, the Twin Towers too, one of the buildings that's just like a cursed space. So they don't build the Twin Towers, but just looking at them, I think they look pretty cool. You can understand, the idea of them being a little bit boring, but to have two immense skyscrapers take over a skyline like that and be the exact same virtual twins, I think it's something really unique. Now, where would they be today in terms of their usefulness in the financial district of Lower Manhattan? I think it would be pretty tough. The pandemic would have been very hard on the Twin Towers and just really any skyscraper in general. They've been trying to build the 2 World Trade Center, and that's been a very, very hard process because there's the idea, is it even worth building another skyscraper at this point with all the remote work we've seen? Now you're seeing a lot of people that don't want to come back into work. They want to work from home. It's easier because of the pandemic. That's only accelerated it. I think that was coming anyways, but certainly there's been this empowerment, and now you're starting to see some of these companies try and take it back, because I do agree in general, if you go somewhere, like if you go to work, you're probably going to get more work done. Now, there will be people that argue that, especially if you have kids, things like that. I get it. But I do think there would be a relatively big renovation to a lot of the floors of the Twin Towers, obviously just to modernize them, considering the last time we've seen them was in 2001. And if you take a look at a lot of the interior shots, it's just completely out of date. I mean, it's the early 2000s. That's what it looks like. So I do think you would have seen over the years, they would do some type of upkeep. You would have more technology into the building. The one weird thing with them, you really can't do any type of renovation to the exterior. They're You know, that look that they have, it's pretty much etched in stone. There's no taking that away. It's not like you can redo the entire outside of the skyscraper in glass. That's just really not possible. There was the idea in the early 90s of a potential renovation to the ground of the Twin Towers that would have completely changed that. And I think I have a few different photos of that. It's pretty interesting. I was thinking of doing a video on it. I do think the Twin Towers would, at this point, if they were still up here in 2023, they would sit partially empty. And the opinion of the Twin Towers, according to at least most New Yorkers, would probably be a pretty insignificant one. They probably wouldn't like them at this point, considering their opinions in the late 90s and them really not being able to change the exterior look of the buildings very much. But of course, we did have 9/11 happen, and they have become legendary American symbols, of course. But yeah, I mean, I just thought that was kind of a cool photo to see. And yes, I would say they would probably have to do a controlled demolition. The idea that they would just keep the towers, maybe if they're safe, it just comes to the aspect of, if you do a controlled demolition, that's letting the terrorists win. Would you really want to do that? It's like an optics thing, but then it's also like you've got these two giant skyscrapers that have been closed since 2001. Would there be a way to repair them, or is it is the structure, the interior structure, and the building core, is it too damaged? Remember, when both the North and the South Tower fell, the building core remained for an extra 20 seconds. You can see in some different videos, you upscale it to HD, the core of the structure is still standing after the collapse of the towers, and then it falls 20 seconds later. It wasn't up for a while, but it was up for a little bit. It just depends how badly damaged the building core was when it comes to possibly saving both the North and South Tower. And the idea is, you know, hindsight's 2020 now. People think, well, if you fly commercial airplanes into buildings, they're going to collapse or they're not going to collapse. And I'm not going to really get into conspiracies on that, but I will say, if they, you know, you're going 450, 500 miles per hour, yeah, it's going to do some damage. Let's just leave it at that. Either way, guys, that's just my opinion on if the Twin Towers never collapsed, where would they be right now? It's kind of a sad story because I really did think that they made New York City's skyline, but a lot of people didn't like them at the time before they went down. Either way, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.
June 10, 1999, is a warm, clear Thursday in Bellingham, a small city of 70,000 on Washington's northwest coast. By late afternoon, kids are home from school, already eager for the start of summer. At 4:30 p.m., Bellingham's 911 center begins getting calls reporting a strong odor of gasoline. The smell is coming from a wooded recreation area called Whatcom Park.
A call came in for an odor investigation. It's a pretty routine call. So we went to the bridge at Iowa and Woburn, and our captain approached the creek and looked over into the creek, and I just saw his eyes get really wide. It was just basically a river of gasoline.
Police and firefighters rush to evacuate the area and locate the source of the leak. Then, with no warning, the gas vapor rising from the creek ignites.
911, there's a big smoke. The sky is loaded. Hold on. Yes, I'd like to report an explosion. Okay. This is Alabama Hill. 911. There's been an explosion. Where is it at? Down by, Seahome Village.
Hello, have you heard about the fire on Alabama Hill?
Yes, we have.
Hey, my car just went off and there's a big balloon outside.
Right, we are on scene.
I was at the store, and a customer came running in and said downtown Bellingham had just exploded.
A house along Whatcom Creek catches fire.
I heard the guy that was working on our house say, "Oh my God, look at the fire. Somebody's house is on fire." And I ran out to the front yard and I could feel the heat of the flames on my face.
My first reaction is, where's Wade?
10-year-old Wade King and his friend Stephen Chorvis were last seen headed down towards the creek.
One of the teenagers down at Stephen's house said he was out on the back trail.
The two severely burned boys had climbed up on their own from the creek. The teenagers carry them to the front yard just as Wade's father arrives.
Well, his hair was all burned off. His face was stretched. I remember looking at their hands, and the skin was virtually dripping off their fingertips.
Wade's mother runs out of their house and down the street towards the boys.
Frank was in the yard, and he said, go home. Wade's been burned.
I remember telling Mary, "Don't look at him."
He was all distorted looking, and he said, Mom, don't look.
You know, they seemed to be lucid. I never thought for a second that they were going to die.
Caught in traffic, Stephen's mother has a premonition that something is terribly wrong.
I had an awful feeling about it. We had every intention of getting home as quickly as possible. And we were trying to call home, and we couldn't get through. And finally, our daughter got through and said, Stephen's burned. They're going to take him to the hospital.
Both boys are burned over 90% of their bodies. From the local hospital, they are airlifted to the Harborview Trauma Center in Seattle.
We got to the hospital in Harborview, and the doctor said they cannot survive. They have no skin.
Back in Bellingham, the fire continues to burn, and another mother is waiting for her son to return home. 18-year-old Liam Wood had graduated from high school the week before. He'd spent the afternoon doing what he loved best, fishing in the park.
I had expected Liam to be home because he was going to be cooking dinner for us that night, and I started calling his friends because I started to worry, and they were calling, not having any clue of what was going on, just trying to find him. And then I got in the car and I drove down and tried to find his car. At one point I had to stop to get gasoline, and when I was in paying for it, the cashier behind the counter was listening to the radio, and I said, "Is there any news?" And he said, "Well, they found a body." And then I really started to panic, and I went home and I turned on the radio and they didn't mention it again, and I thought it must have been a mistake.
A search and rescue team recovers a body from the creek. But it is not until after midnight that the body is positively identified.
Around 2:30 in the morning, we heard steps on the porch, and well, at first I thought it was him, and it was the police. So they told us then.
At Harborview Hospital, the two boys cling to life as their families stand vigil by their bedside.
You couldn't touch him. You couldn't comfort him. was nothing we could do but stand there and wait for him to die.
My son loved baseball, and I didn't want him to suffer. So I told him there's a baseball game going on in heaven, and they needed a left-handed hitting catcher.
Wade dies at just after 2 a.m. Stephen dies 5 hours later. In the days following the explosion, the town of Bellingham mourns its loss.
Liam felt at home in places like this. Places like this were his sanctuary.
It was just this incredible shock and this immediate sense of irony that someone who loved the environment, loved the outdoors so much, could be killed by something like a gasoline pipeline explosion in that place.
I remember waking up the next morning and thinking, who would have ever thought that you'd be planning your son's funeral this weekend?
These boys.
Ponte aquí, Iván. ¿Dónde? Para que se vean los dos, no puedo ver. Se ve allá el World Trade Center. No se ve. ¿Qué pasa? Yo sé.
Oh, yeah. This video is going to get weird. First, he was talking about the Biden administration's decision to keep the John F. Kennedy assassination documents still classified, even though they were supposed to be released, like, right now. The JFK assassination, of course, has probably spawned more conspiracy theories than any other event in U.S. history. But Joe Rogan posted this, which is apparently the bullet that killed Kennedy, which Joe Rogan has some doubts on. He expressed it in a way that only Joe could, which is, this fucking bullet never hit a goddamn thing. Fact. Now, I saw this post and my first thought was, yeah, it doesn't look like that fucking bullet hit a goddamn thing. Huh. And with today being the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination, I figured I'm curious to see the answer. Maybe we could figure out this whole magic bullet thing together. So immediately, I bought a Model 38 6.5 Carcano rifle, which is exactly what Lee Harvey Oswald used in the assassination, allegedly. And I hit up my guys over at Ballistic Dummy Labs. So now we have, well, now we're going to get weird with it. We're going to try to see exactly what a 6.5 Carcano fired out of a Model 38 Carcano looks like.
The magic bullet in Joe through Kennedy's like back out through like the neck trajectory, hit whatever solid.
Have a, I agree with Butter. See if we can have these kind of. So this, for whatever, but to show you going all out with a ballistic dummy and is open. All right, 3, 2, 1. Now I really just have to take a leak. Let's talk about a fucking magic bullet. So it went through 1, 2, 3, and ended in the 4th. As you can see clear as day. So on further inspection, it just one in the photo. It's interesting, not by much, but you can clearly see that is about as close as you can get. And because there's no way in shit this video is getting monetized. Now I'm so unfortunately, we do not have the bullet captured, and we're kind of running thin in the water bottle department. So we can't give up. To HEB. Dive now, so hopefully it's full net support. So on the way out as well. So we will give it a shot. If this doesn't work, I'm going to cry. I gotta pee again. It exited with some full... Come on, here we go. Son of a gun. We've got our 6.5 Carcano. Interestingly enough, this one's not even as fucked up as the first one. The one that only hit the water. So if you look at the base here, you know, the base is clearly squeezed. This thing was tumbling a little bit. And you can see it hooks off to the left a little bit now. Giggity. It did deform a little bit, but all in all, this bullet's actually in better shape. It just goes to show bullets do weird shit sometimes, and ballistics is not exactly an exact science when you're talking about real world stuff. I don't think anybody can argue we didn't skull fuck our target here. My attempt to pick it up, I broke it.
Good morning, have a good day. Hi, what's your number again, please? 865. I'm on the 83rd floor. What? I'm on the 83rd floor. 86 what? 8695. 8695? Yeah, the World Trade Center. Someone having difficulty breathing on the 83rd floor. Okay, ma'am, how you doing? Are they going to be able to get somebody up here? Well, of course, ma'am. We're coming up to you. Well, there's no one here yet, and the floor is completely engulfed. We're on the floor, and we can't breathe. Okay. And it's very, very, very hot. Is it all the lights still on? The lights are on, but it's very hot. Ma'am, very hot. We're all the way on the other side of Liberty, and it's very, very hot. Any lights? You can turn the lights off? No, the lights are off. Okay, good. Now, everybody stay calm. You're doing a good job. Please. Ma'am, listen. Ma'am, everybody's telling it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what happened, okay? Yeah. But no, they had to take time to come up here. You know that. You got to be very careful. Very hot. I understand. You got to be very, very careful how they approach you, okay? All right? So when they come upstairs, it won't be worse than it is. Now, you stay calm. And so how many people where you're at right now? There's like 5 people here with me. All up on the 83rd floor? 83rd floor. With 5 people. 5 patients. Everybody's having trouble breathing? Everybody's having trouble breathing. Some people are worse. Some people are unconscious. Everybody's awake? So far, yes. Listen. Everybody's awake? Yes, so conscious. And it's very hot there, but no fire, right? I can't see. No, too high. Very hot. No fire for now, and no smoke, right? No smoke, right? Of course there's smoke. Ma'am, you have to stay calm. There is smoke. I can't breathe. Okay, you stay calm with me, okay? I understand. I think there is fire because it's very hot. Okay. It's very hot everywhere on the floor. Okay. I know you don't see it, and I know, but I'm going to document. I'm documenting what you say, okay? And it's very hot. We see no fire, but you see smoke, right? It's very hot. I see any air anymore. Okay. All I see is smoke. Okay, dear. I'm so sorry. Hold on, stay calm with me. Stay calm. Now, listen. The call is in. I'm documenting. I'm gonna let them. Hold on 1 second, please. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. I'm gonna die. Ma'am, say your prayers. And we're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor. Now, stay calm. You're doing a good job, ma'am. You're doing a good job. It's so hot. I'm burning up. Okay, if you don't, the floors is hot and everything is hot. They're all their justice. When you go up high, you get too close away from the smoke. Okay, I know you know. Hold on a second. 83rd floor, 3 people trapped. Very hot on the 83rd floor. 3 people trapped. Having trouble breathing. Very hot. Wait, we hear voices. Help! That's what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know. Okay. Hello, ma'am? Stay calm, ma'am. Stay calm. Just don't move. Oh my God. They coming through with you now? Find out if there's anybody here on the 83rd floor. Ma'am, don't worry. You stay on the phone with me and Can you find out if there's anyone on the 83rd floor? Because, ma'am, I already Excuse me, I already notified this lieutenant, okay? 80, I notified ACD. 80? Yes, Lieutenant 80. I already notified the lieutenant that there's 5 people on the first floor, right? Very hot and smoky. So they overlook you, okay, dear? Can you? I already did that. Can I lie with you, please? Yes, ma'am, I am going to stay with you. Listen, take it. They're here? Are they inside with you yet, dear? No. Okay, stay calm till they get inside. Find out where they are. Ma'am, stay calm till they get inside. Karen. What's the job number you have? I have 727. 727? Yes.
All right then. God bless America. And bye.
Attacks weigh heavy on the minds of millions, but for some flight crew
that morning.
Mother's God. 8695, good morning, have a good day. Hi, what's your number again, please? 8695. I'm on the 83rd floor.
Okay, so a while back, I made a video about why Apple's animations are so smooth, and I got some love for it, but a lot of you said it wasn't as informative as it could have been, and I hear you, I totally get it, and I'm...
American 11 trying to call.
Buddy, we have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're turning to the airport.
15 Southwest of Ono going to Hampton. And who's trying to call me here? American 11, are you trying to call?
Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll injure yourself and the airplane. Just stay quiet.
Roger, weapon, Sergeant Powell.
Hi, Boston Center, Team U. We have a problem here. We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York, and we need you guys to, we need someone to scramble some F-16s or something up there to help us out.
Is this real world or exercise?
No, this is not an exercise, not a test.
Okay, hey, hold on 1 second, okay?
Yep.
Hey, big time.
What? What was that? Cool. Really? Boston? Yep. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Yeah, Huntress calling in reference to the hijacked aircraft.
Yes.
We're checking to get some information from you if we could.
Okay, what do you need?
We need call sign type aircraft.
It's American 11.
American 11.
Type aircraft is a 767.
And number of souls on board, do you know that?
I don't know. Hold on. Hey, Dan, we got souls on board and all that information? We don't have any. No, we don't have any of that information.
You don't have any of that?
Right now,
Okay.
the position's about 40 miles north of Kennedy.
40 miles north of Kennedy.
Right.
Do you have a mode 3?
No, we don't. He's a primary target only.
Primary target only?
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't know where he's coming from or destination?
No idea. He took off out of Boston, originally heading for Los Angeles.
Boston to Los Angeles?
That was his original destination, yeah.
And where are they going now, do you know?
No idea. He's heading towards Kennedy. Looks like the speed is decreasing. Not exactly sure where. Nobody really.
Are you the controlling agency? Or is New York?
Boston Center. Right now we are. He's headed right for New York Center.
And is there any military assistance requested?
Yes, we're actually trying to get the F-15s to work.
Yes, you do want F-15s out?
Yeah, F-15s out of Otis.
But you don't have any modes or codes on him?
No, right now it's just, no, we don't have any more fish.
Is he inbound to JFK?
We don't know.
You don't know where he is at all?
He's being hijacked. The pilot's having a hard time talking to the, we don't know. We don't know where he's going. He's heading towards Kennedy. He's, like I said, he's like 35 miles north of Kennedy now at 367 knots.
Okay.
No idea where he's going.
If you could please give us a call and let us know, any information, that would be great.
Okay. Right now, I guess we're trying to work on, I guess there's been some threats in the cockpit.
There's been what? I'm sorry.
We'll call you right back as soon as we know more info.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tarzan. Approach is on. Guy Killer. This is Huntress placing Panda 4546 on battle stations. I repeat, battle stations. Time 1241. Authenticate. Hotel Romeo. All parties acknowledged with initials. Command post. Guy Killer. Tower. JL. Approach. Tango Juliet. And you say again the call sign? Panta. Papa. Alpha. November. Tango Alpha. 4546. Tango Juliet. Juliet Papa. All parties are cleared to drop.
I've never seen so much real-world stuff happen during an expo.
That one, they're showing the mask, the other one's showing the mask, the last,
Speed, that long. 41, right, what was that? Okay, find this guy. Yeah, 41, and we're putting it in. 1443. 1443, look for it, right there. Okay, mode 3, 1443, last known. No, this is real world. Okay, we're in the high chat. I got a Z-point, sir. Last known position that we got out of this guy was right there at the Z-point. He's heading 190 at 29,000 feet. He's heading down. So we're looking for somebody. You know what? Just start hitting up tracks all around that area, that Z-point. Okay, just north of SDMCC, scramble Otis. Copy, same mission. MCC, I don't know where I'm scrambling these guys to. I need a direction, destination. Okay, I'm going to give you the Z-point. It's just north of New York City. I got this lat long 4115, 7436, or 7346. Head them in that direction. Copy that.
Say that again, please.
Looks like we lost the primary target about 20 west of Kennedy, and we had a report of an ELT in the area. We're going to get some Coast Guard activity up there.
Yeah, we lost the track, too.
Boston, this is New York. What type of aircraft was the American?
167.
This is the ACI watch. Say again, if you lost track of the aircraft, over?
Boston has lost track. I don't know if so we have confirmed that it was a hijack. That's what it takes.
Yeah, New York confirmed we lost the track as well. We got a report of an ELT.